Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We got to do better than that. Good morning.
Morning.
Well done. Well done. The hour of convening has arrived, and the Senate will now come to order. This time, I'd ask that all unauthorized persons exit the chamber. Funny story, I actually woke up one of my kids today by saying that. I walked in his room, he sounded asleep. I was like, the hour of convening has arrived. He's like, you're not in the Senate, Dad. Chair would like to recognize, where's your red tie? Senator from the 53rd.
Hold it. Good morning, Mr. President. What a pleasure it is to be with you. And such a wonderful day, despite the rain, with these men and women who are ready to fight for their constituents. A moment in time. It is red day, and I got my red tie displayed, everyone. And a moment in time, 1959, Buddy Holly dies in a terrible plane crash, and it was the day the music died, so the song says. Also, today is National Carrot Cake Day, told to me by the senator from the 4th District who's not paying attention. And it's National Golden Retriever Day, according to the gentleman from the 24th District. Mr. President, the journal's been read and found to be correct, sir.
Thank you so much for those incredible highlights. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the journal? The chair hears none, and the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Are there any motions to reconsider? Chair recognizes the senator from the 9th.
Mr. President, good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
I move that the Senate reconsider its action in posing SB 369.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of Senate?
And I request yeas and nays.
And you request the yeas and nays. Mr. Secretary, will you please read the caption of Senate Bill 369?
Senate Bill number 369, a bill by Senators Dixon of the 45th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend an act relating to education districts for the election of members of the Board of Education of Gwinnett County, approved April 7, 1972, as amended so as to provide that future elections for members of the Board of Education shall be nonpartisan, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. The Senate Committee on State and Local Government Operations recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Anderson of the 24th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator from the 9th has moved that the Senate reconsider its actions in passing Senate Bill 369. Is there objection? There is objection. Chair recognizes the senator from the 9th to speak to her motion. You've got 10 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. Same as yesterday. We would like, I really would like this question to be posed to all of our voters out there on a statewide ballot. So we're here again today. I am against SB 369, and I am asking for your no vote, especially those of you who are already in partisan districts, nonpartisan school districts. So thank you. Well, we want your yes to this, and we'll readdress the question. So sorry, let me read it. I want your yes to the reconsider, and we'll put the vote back up.
Do you want, would you like to take a question?
Sure.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 48th with a question.
Senator, do you yield?
Yes.
Isn't it true that with this reconsideration, all that you're asking to do is to take this question of whether or not Gwinnett school boards should be nonpartisan, which has not demonstrated majority support from either the Gwinnett delegation nor the voters of Gwinnett, that all we're asking to do is to take a hold on making this into law and simply asking the voters of Gwinnett whether or not they want this before proceeding?
The senator knows what she speaks.
You have no more questions. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the motion? The chair sees none. The senator from the 9th has asked for the yeas and nays. Secretary has made a great recommendation. Are there any motions to excuse prior to this vote? Chair recognizes the majority whip.
Good morning. I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 49th.
Without objection, the senator from the 49th is excused. The chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, y'all. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 35th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, the
Oh. I'm sorry, 26 also.
35th and 26th. Without objection, they are excused. Is there any additional motions to excuse? All right, the chair sees none. The senator from the chair does not see any buttons pushed. If you'd like to request to speak, to make any, she waves. Senator from the 9th has moved that the Senate reconsider its actions in passing Senate Bill 369. All those in favor of reconsideration of the vote will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. On the motion to reconsider, the yeas are 20, the nays are 33, and the motion has been lost, and Senate Bill 369 will not be reconsidered. Is there objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills or resolutions, please bring them to the secretary's desk at this time. Mr. Secretary, first reading of Senate bills and resolutions, please. Bear with us, this is a long list. Y'all have been busy drafting.
Senate Bill 438 by Senators Tippins of the 37th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 10 of Title 13 of the OCGA relating to retention and contractual payments and
Regulated
creation.
industries.
Senate Bill 439 by Senators Tippins of the 37th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 7 of Title 44 of the OCGA relating to dispossessory proceedings so as to provide.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 440 by Senators Ginn of the 47th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 5 of Chapter 5 of Title 12 of the OCGA relating to dam safety so as to
Natural
revise.
resources.
Senate Bill 441 by Senators Hatchett of the 50th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 15 of the OCGA relating to courts in general so as to provide for the reestablishment.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 442 by Senators Butler of the 55th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to primaries and elections generally.
Ethics.
Senate Bill 443 by Senators Butler of the 55th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to primaries and elections generally.
Ethics.
Senate Bill 444 by Senators Butler of the 55th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to primaries and elections generally so as to remove the limitation.
Ethics.
Senate Bill 445 by Senators Burns of the 23rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 82143 of the OCGA relating to civil and criminal penalty for violation of Section 610.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
Senate Bill 446 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act reconstituting the Board of Education of Warren County.
Slogo.
Senate Bill 447 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Glasscock County, approved February.
Slogo.
Senate Bill 448 by Senators Miller of the 49th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 35 of the OCGA relating to general provisions regarding law enforcement officers and agencies.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 449 by Senators Dixon of the 45th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 5 of Article 16 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the OCGA relating to review of removal of students in elementary and
Education and Youth.
Senate Bill 450 by Senator Strickland of the 17th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act to reestablish the Board of Commissioners of Newton County, approved.
Slogo.
Senate Bill 451 by Senator Strickland of the 17th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act providing for the Board of Education of Newton County, approved March.
Slogo.
Senate Bill 452 by Senators McNeil of the 3rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 12 of Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the OCGA relating to effectiveness of educational programs so as to require administration.
Education and youth.
Senate Bill 453 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act known as the Macon Water Authority Act, approved March 23rd, 1992.
Slogo.
Senate Bill 454 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act establishing the Board of Public Education for Bibb County.
Slogo.
That completes the order, Mr. President.
First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions, please.
House Bill 478 by Representatives Rich of the 97th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 24 of the OCGA relating to opinions and expert testimony so as to change the rules of evidence.
Judiciary.
House Bill 907 by Representative Smith of the 18th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 21-540 of the OCGA relating to conduct of special primaries and special elections.
Ethics.
House Bill 945 by Representatives Holmes of the 129th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Butts County, approved February.
Slogo.
House Bill 946 by Representatives Holmes of the 129th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act providing for the election of the members of the Board of Education of Butts County. Approved.
Slogo.
House Bill 1012 by Representative Werkheiser of the 157th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Tattnall County, approved August.
Slogo.
House Bill 1014 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, a bill to be entitled an act to repeal an act to abolish the mode of compensating the Sheriff of Montgomery County, Georgia, known as the fee system, approved.
Slogo.
House Bill 1015 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, a bill to be entitled an act to create a Board of Elections and Registration for Montgomery County.
Slogo.
House Bill 1016 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Montgomery County, approved February 27th.
Slogo.
House Bill 1017 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act relating to the Montgomery County Board of Education, approved March 21st, 1979, as amended.
Slogo.
House Bill 1018 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Emmanuel County, approved August.
Slogo.
House Bill 1019 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act incorporating the city of Swainsboro, approved.
Slogo.
House Bill 1020 by Representatives Hogan of the 179th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Glenn County, approved February.
Slogo.
House Bill 1023 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act reconstituting the Talbot County Board of Education, approved April.
Slogo.
House Bill 1024 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act establishing the Board of Commissioners of Talbot County, approved February.
Slogo.
House Bill 1025 by Representatives Hawkins of the 27th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating a Board of Commissioners for Hall County, approved March 21st, 1935. As
Slogo.
amended. House Bill 1026 by Representatives Leverett of the 33rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act providing for the Board of Education of Madison County, approved March 24th.
Slogo.
House Bill 1027 by Representatives Leverett of the 33rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Madison County.
Slogo.
1030 House Bill 1033 by Representative Sains of the 180th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act to create the Camden County Public Service Authority.
Slogo.
House Bill 1036 by Representative Leverett of the 33rd, a bill to be entitled an act to provide for compensation of the members of the Board of Education of Lincoln County, to provide for related matters, to repeal.
Slogo.
That completes the order, Mr. President.
Great job. Mr. Secretary, will you please read reports of standing committees, please?
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Finance has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 361 do pass by substitute, and Senate Bill 370 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Hufstetler of the 52nd District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Retirement has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 84 do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 343 do pass. Senate Bill 281 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Robertson of the 29th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Government Operations has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 775 do pass, House Bill 881 do pass, House Bill 882 do pass, House Bill 890 do pass, House Bill 942 do pass, House Bill 943 do pass, House Bill 944 do pass, House Bill 947 do pass, House Bill 955 do pass, House Bill 956 do pass, House Bill 957 do pass, House Bill 958 do pass, Senate Bill 321 do pass, Senate Bill 376 do pass, Senate Bill 399 do pass, Senate Bill 400 do pass, Senate Bill 401 do pass, Senate Bill 402 do pass, Senate Bill 430 do pass, Senate Bill 431 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Anderson of the 24th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Ms. Secretary, will you please read bills and resolutions for the second time?
Senate Bill 245 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others. Dangerous instrumentalities and practices prohibit public officers from ordering the enforcement of certain federal acts regarding the right to keep and bear arms. Senate Bill 257 by Senator Anderson of the 43rd and others. Georgia Crime Information Center criminal history record restrictions for certain persons cited with or convicted of certain criminal offenses provide. Senate Bill 259 by Senator Mullis of the 53rd and others, dangerous instrumentalities and practices, firearms and the carrying and possession of firearms and weapons, revise various laws. Senate Bill 277 by Senator Mullis of the 53rd and others, firearms, extend the exemptions from carry laws for court officials to include carrying inside of a courthouse. Senate Bill 319 by Senator Anna Vitarte of the 31st and others, Georgia Constitutional Carry Act of 2021 enact. Senate Bill 326 by Senator Anna Vitarte of the 31st and others, state flag, seals, symbols, placement of a monument in honor of the Honorable Clarence Thomas within the Capitol building or grounds provide. Senate Bill 338 by Senator Burke of the 11th and others, Medicaid, postpartum coverage under Medicaid from 6 months to 1 year following birth increase. Senate Bill 340 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, hospital authorities and designated teaching hospitals definitions revised. Senate Bill 341 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, healthcare services, guidelines for the prior authorization of a prescribed medication for chronic conditions requiring ongoing medication therapy provide. Senate Bill 342 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, insurance, annual reporting regarding mental health parity in healthcare plans provide. Senate Bill 346 by Senator Mullis of the 53rd and others, Department of Administrative Services, companies owned and operated by China to bid on or submit a proposal for a state contract prohibit. Senate Bill 352 by Senator Thompson of the 14th and others, professions, issuance of expedited licenses by endorsement for certain licenses to spouses of firefighters, healthcare providers, and law enforcement officers who relocate to the state of Georgia provide. Senate Bill 358 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, Georgia Public Safety Training Center reimbursement of certain costs incurred by active duty, retired, or honorably discharged members of the U.S. Armed Forces who are attending basic law enforcement training provide. Senate Bill 363 by Senator Tillery of the 19th and others, Fair Business Practice Act of 1975, class action suits and for damages for violating the requirements of solicitations for corporate filings provide. Senate Bill 364 by Senator Tillery of the 19th and others, telephone service, class action suits and for damages against certain persons for violating provisions relating to telephone solicitations provide. That completes the order, Mr. President. Senate Bill 321 by Senator Jones of the 10th and others, DeKalb County, salary of certain judges, judicial officers, and county officers increase. Senate Bill 376 by Senator Merritt of the 9th and others, Board of Education of Gwinnett County, education district boundaries revise. Senate Bill 399 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, Board of Education of McDuffie County, change the description of the education districts, change. Senate Bill 400 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, Board of Commissioners of McDuffie County, description of the commissioner districts, change. Senate Bill 401 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, Board of Commissioners of Jefferson County, description of the commissioner districts, change. Senate Bill 402 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, Board of Education of Jefferson County, description of the education districts, change. Senate Bill 430 by Senator Summers of the 13th, Board of Commissioners of Worth County, description of the commissioner districts, change. Senate Bill 431 by Senator Summers of the 13th, Worth County Board of Education, description of the education districts, change. House Bill 775 by Representative Bentley of the 139th, Taylor County Board of Education, modify compensation and others. House Bill 881 by Representative Williamson of the 115th and others, Walton County Board of Commissioners, change description of districts. House Bill 882 by Representative Williamson of the 115th and others, Walton County Board of Education, change description of districts. House Bill 890 by Representative Gaines of the 117th and others, Athens-Clarke County Commission members, change description of districts. House Bill 942 by Representative Wade of the 9th and others, Dawson County Board of Commissioners, change description of districts. House Bill 943 by Representative Wade of the 9th and others, Dawson County Board of Education, change description of districts. House Bill 944 by Representative Holmes of the 129th, Jasper County Board of Commissioners, revised districts of members. House Bill 947 by Representative Holmes of the 129th, Jasper County Board of Education, change description of districts. House Bill 955 by Representative Williams of the 148th and others, Crisp County Board of Commissioners, change description of districts. House Bill 956 by Representative Williams of the 148th and others, Crisp County Board of Education, reconstitute. House Bill 957 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, Candler County Board of Education, revised districts of members. House Bill 958 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, Candler County Board of Commissioners, change description of districts. That completes the order, Mr. President.
All right, it's now time for our morning roll call. Ms. Secretary, great job over there. A lot of busy work this morning. We're going to do the morning roll call. Are there any additional motions to excuse? I know we've already gone through the exercise. Just want to make sure that no additional motions to excuse. All right, the Secretary will call the roll of senators. Signify your presence by voting the yea switch. The Secretary will unlock the machine. All right, it's now time for morning devotional. I would ask that all senators take your seats, cease all audible conversations, and doorkeepers, please secure the chamber at this time. It's my honor to recognize our distinguished rules chairman to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and to introduce to us our chaplain of the day.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you join me in honoring our country, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let's honor our state flag. I pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, and moderation, and courage. It is getting louder. The Courage Caucus is getting louder, as I've been told. Thank you so much, my colleagues. I'm proud to be here in front of you to introduce you to a friend of mine. I know I don't have many of them, but I do have one here today. Marvin Marson, a native Georgian from Stewart County. He holds a degree in speech and Bible from Tennessee Temple University. He was also the first post-certified chaplain in Northwest Georgia and served as chaplain of the Walker County Sheriff's Department and the Walker County Fire and Rescue, in which I was a chief officer for several years. I was much thinner back then. He has been in ministry for over 45 years and served in churches in Virginia, Arkansas, Texas, and finally a state like Georgia let him stay. For over 15 years, he has served as a ministry leader for Celebrate Recovery and has helped churches throughout North Georgia and Southeast Tennessee start their ministry. He has a heart for those who are hurting. He has been married to Phyllis for more than 16 years, and together they have a greatest blended family in the world with 7 kids and 18 grandkids. Would you please give your attention to my friend, Marvin Marson.
Good morning. Lieutenant Governor Duncan, thank you for the opportunity to serve as chaplain of the Senate today. Senator Mullis, thank you for your kind words and your friendship over the many years we've known each other. I was privileged to stand in this place about 20 years ago. Back then, I was a much younger preacher with great plans and visions for life and ministry. And some of those plans and visions have come to fruition. Others, they haven't. A lot can happen in 20 years. Like each one of you, I have experienced joy and sorrow, successes and failures. A little over 15 years ago, as Senator Mullis mentioned, I became involved in a ministry that I can truly say changed my life. It's called Celebrate Recovery. Celebrate Recovery is a local church ministry in over 35,000 churches in many state prisons across the country. This ministry crosses denominational and racial lines and helps folks with all kinds of issues: substance abuse, anger issues, codependence, enabling, compulsive behaviors, sex addiction, financial dysfunction, eating disorders, and on and on. There are people from all walks of life that need recovery. We all have secret hurts, habits, and hang-ups. After serving in the ministry for almost 50 years and serving in recovery ministry for the last 15, I've come to believe that the teachings of the Bible can be funneled down to one verse when I think of my interaction with other people. Of course, this is my opinion. But when we study this verse, understand its meaning, and apply it to our lives, it will indeed change us. This verse is found in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32, and it says, "Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you." I want to talk about that verse for just a couple of minutes. Notice that the verse does not say, be kind when folks are kind to you. Be kind if folks agree with you. Be kind to folks who deserve it. It just says, be kind, be tenderhearted, be forgiving. This is not a suggestion. For those of us who believe that the Bible is the inspired word of an almighty God, we believe this is a command. I'm not sure who said this, but it bears repeating. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Being kind is an obedient choice. Missionary Stephen Grellet wrote, "I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do or any kindness I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer it or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again." A logical and understandable question could be asked, in a world filled with unkindness, where I am bombarded with rudeness and criticism, how can I be kind? The answer is in the last part of the verse. Even as God in Christ forgave you. Again, those of us who profess to be Christians know that we did not become one by anything we have done. It is because of the grace and mercy of a loving God. So, when I think of all the kindness, tenderheartedness, and forgiveness that God has extended to me, it becomes much easier to be kind, tenderhearted, and forgiving toward others. Those of you who serve in this body were elected to do the work of the people of the state of Georgia. It is hard work. There will be disagreement and debate, as there should be. May I challenge you that even in those times of heated disagreement and debate, that the guiding factor would be kindness. When you return home to your families, may your kindness be seen. May you be kind to the people who serve you here. I must point this out. Kindness does not mean weakness. Sometimes we are called upon to take a strong stand. But if I must be offensive, let it be because of my position and not my disposition. Let me be kind. I close with these words of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Kind hearts are the gardens, kind thoughts are the roots, kind words are the flowers, kind deeds are the fruits. Take care of your garden and keep out the weeds. Fill it with sunshine, kind words and deeds. Let's stand for prayer. Heavenly Father, you are indeed a kind God. We thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. On a day like today, Lord, I thank you for the privilege to stand in this place. I thank you for the men and women who serve this state. And I pray that today, as they do the people's business, that kindness will be a thought in the forefront of their mind. Again, I pray that you would lead them and guide them, direct them, bless their families, bless all the people who work in this building. And I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Are there any unanimous consents? The chair sees none. Chair recognizes the senator from the 35th from her desk for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a resolution today that I wanted to present. It was I passed on yesterday for Rosa Parks Day, and everyone has on their desk an invitation to come over and meet different people who are here. Today we have Rosa Parks, for anyone who does not know, was an American activist in the civil rights movement, and she was best known for her pivotal role in the Montgomery boycott. She was too tired to get up and change her seat and move to the back, and that started this part of the civil rights movement, and she was honored by Congress as the first lady of civil rights and the mother of the freedom movement. And the list goes on. She's received Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Congressional Gold Medal, and posthumously a statue in the United States National Stationery Hall, which is in Congress, just to name a few. Upon her death in 2005, she was the first woman to lie in state in the United States Capitol Rotunda, and on what would have been her 100th birthday. She has a U.S. stamp released a few years ago honoring her as a civil rights icon, and most recently, federal lawmakers have embarked on an initiative to make Rosa Parks' birthday, which is February 4th, a national celebrated holiday. And when this bill was passed, Mrs. Park will be the first woman in history to have a national recognized holiday. But more than anything else, her birthplace home is scheduled to come to Georgia in the 35th district. And so we hope that it will be a museum. Up in the gallery, I hope that they can stand right now. We have so many people who have come, and I hope you'll join them in room 307 after we adjourn today. But we have Bobby Hunter, who was Hunter Rivers, who is a globetrotter, and they call him Gator. And he's from Savannah, Georgia, and he also is a Chatham County commissioner. We have Julia Miles, we have Reverend Lloyd Cutter and his family, Antonio and his wife, Reverend Vernell. We have Eddie Levert Jr., who is the co-founder of Rosa Parks Project. We have Susan McCulley, Mike Jacobs, Rhonda Wilkins, Stephen Rhymes, Phyllis Hatcher, and these are people up in the gallery right now. Jaron Chambers, Travis Mays, Rosa Parks Project, Antonio Joseph, Brenda Davenport, Representative Mabel Thomas, and Mayor Johnny Ford of Tuskegee, Alabama, just to name a few, and many other people will be over in room 307 later. So everyone, please give them a hand for coming all the way here and honoring Rosa Parks today. Hey, Mr. President, thank you very much. And if you want another Globetrotter basketball, we're going to ask two of them because there's another Globetrotter up there now. And we may be able to get you one of those balls because I know you love sports. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I take my seat.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from the 19th for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's hard to follow the senator from the 35th, but I would like to recognize another group in the gallery. My alma mater, Vidalia High School class, the government class, is in the gallery right now talking to one of the doorkeepers, it looks like. One of them must have pulled their phone out. So If you would recognize them, including their teachers, Miss Owens and my old geography teacher, Miss Robinson, if you would recognize the class from Vidalia High School's government class.
Just as a continued word of encouragement to the crew up there, you can go from your high school government class to the appropriations chair, all in just a matter of a few years. Chair recognizes the senator from the 4th for a point of personal privilege.
Mr. President, it's a great day today. It is so great to see the gallery full of people today. But I'd like to especially welcome a great group of people from Statesboro, Georgia, Bullock County. They're here. Leadership Bullock. Leadership Bullock was started in the early 80s, and I was a part of the very first class. It was started by Georgia Power. Georgia Power came to our community and recognized that we need to train leaders to be leaders. And so we had two classes, Tomorrow's Leaders. And then out of that Tomorrow's Leaders class, we formed Leadership Bullock. And I was very fortunate to be the second president of Leadership Bullock. And then since that time, they have graduated, Leadership Bullock has graduated probably 700, 800 people in our community. So if you can think about training 700 people in a community to be leaders, Mr. Ed, going forward, that's a pretty awesome thing. So let me tell you a little bit about Leadership Bullock mission. Leadership Bullock's mission, in partnership with Statesboro Bullock Chamber of Commerce and Leadership Bullock Alumni Association, is to foster the development of community leaders by providing educational and networking opportunities, promoting community involvement, and furthering the understanding, development, and awareness of local, state, and national issues as they relate to economic development of the area and the community at large. If you ask me personally, what was maybe one of the major items that has made our community successful over the years, it is the fact that Leadership Bullock has trained leaders to be leaders. And that really has set us apart and consequently caused our community to grow. So I'm going to call out the names of the people that are here today. So if y'all would please stand up when I call out your name. We got our local tax commissioner, Leslie Akins. We got one of our city councilmen, Phil Borum, Dorsey Baldwin, John Banner, Demetrius Bynes, Brian Harris, Noah Casler, Jenny Kite, Jared Mock, Judith Oglesby, Elizabeth Oliver, Brian Ruzia, and Noranda Wright. And then along with them, the people that's keeping them straight and keeping them in line while they're here is Christopher Wiggins, Stephanie Neal, Alex McGill, and Paige Navarro. So if y'all would please, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the will.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 42nd for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise this morning to honor and tell all of you about Susie King Taylor. Mrs. Susie King Taylor was born into slavery at the Grest Plantation in Liberty County on August 8, 1848. By the age of 7, she was able to move to Savannah with her grandmother, where she was encouraged to learn how to read and write. Even though she was not supposed to have a formal education due to Georgia's harsh laws, Mrs. Taylor secretly attended schools taught by black women, which led to her accomplishments later in life. At the age of 14, she was freed from slavery when her uncle led her out to a federal gunboat near the Confederate-held Fort Pulaski. While on the ship, she impressed the ship's commander lieutenant, who arranged for her to take up a teaching position at a children's school. She taught reading and writing for upwards of 40 children and adults, becoming the first African American known to teach at a freedmen's school in Georgia. In late fall 1862, Taylor joined the 1st South Carolina Volunteers, the first black regiment in the U.S. Army. She originally worked as a regimental laundress throughout the war and would perform the essential duties of cooking and washing. However, her literacy made her an asset, allowing her to serve as the reading instructor for the Regiment of Former Slaves. Even though her official title was that of laundress, her duties went far beyond that, earning her the title of the first African American Army nurse. After the war, she and her husband, Sergeant Edward King, moved to Savannah, where she opened 2 private schools there and 1 in Liberty County. The schools did not close until public schools opened up to black children. In 1902, she published her diary and memoir, Reminiscences of My Life in Camp, with the 33rd United States Colored Troops, late 1st SC Volunteers, making her the only African American woman to publish a memoir of her wartime experiences. Mrs. Susie King Taylor passed away on October 2nd, 1912 in Boston, Massachusetts. She will forever be known as an educator, an author, a nurse, a wife, and a mother. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Chair recognizes, again, the distinguished rules chairman for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have something very important to say and to talk about. You know, as we're here in this building, occasionally we are disappointed in people. I don't want to say upset, or I don't want to say that I am mad or I hate somebody, but I get disappointed in people. And eventually you'll see those people's name on my door. I have no one there currently. But, and going with what the chaplain of the day said, my friend Marvin Morrison, about being kind. And if my grandmother was alive, she'd tell me if I didn't have something nice to say about somebody, don't say anything. My mother would echo that. So, Mr. President, I'm going to give my points of personal privilege, and I'm going to consider those that I'm not happy with. So if you'll bear with me. Mr. President, I think I made my point. I yield the well.
Thank you, sir, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from the 40th for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. You might notice that many of us are wearing red today and wondering why. We see red dresses, red suits, red ties. We're doing this in recognition of the American Heart Association and all they have done to eradicate and help with getting rid of heart disease. Now, when I was 22, and newly arrived in Atlanta, I got the call that my dad had a massive heart attack, and he was only 57 years old. The doctors and the nurses and the medical researchers all worked together, and they saved his life. And because of that, they gave me another 30 years with my father. All that 30 years was full of love and pride that I would not have had without the work that those people did. I did lose my father right before the pandemic started in 2019. I was visiting with him in a memory facility. He had a hard time finding the words he needed to say to communicate what was in his head, but I always had the sense that he knew who I was when I visited. Somebody asked him at some point if he could explain why they chose the name Sally for me. And I could see the wheels turning, and all he could get out was senator. So he remembered that, you know, I had won this seat and I was serving in the Georgia Senate. So to the very end, I still felt all that love and pride. And so thank you to the American Heart Association, the doctors, the nurses, the med techs, everyone who saved his life and kept his life going for those 30 years. Thank you. I yield the well.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 26th for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know how many of you saw the Georgia trend that came out recently. Talked about rural health care. But one of the things they left out Mercer University. Dr. Dean Sumner at Mercer. When we needed health care in West Alabama, in Fort Gaines, Georgia, on the Alabama line, Mercer University went over there and set up a clinic. When the people messed up in Americus, Georgia, Mercer University set up a clinic in Americus. When Elbert County was in trouble, Mercer helped DCH write an Appalachian grant to get Elbert County Hospital out of hock and make it a viable operation. In Harris County, Blue Cross Blue Shield wouldn't even write a policy because there was no doctor and over 3,000 kids. Dean Sumner, Mercer University, went to Harris County and set up a rural health clinic. So I don't know who Georgia Trend is looking at, but Mercer is doing the job that we gave it money to do. And I think, and I will ask this August body to give Mercer University a hand because they're doing what needs to be done to help rural health care in Georgia.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 1st for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. As some of us had already guessed, today is Savannah Chatham Day, and I just wanted to welcome the folks from Savannah today and in Chatham County. And I would like for us to remember what the Minister of the Day said today about being kind to everyone, and that has been repeated through a theme today, and I think that's a great thing to remember for our lives. Also mention that we have an oyster roast from the coast. It is sponsored by the Chamber. It is brought directly from Savannah. Barnes Restaurant does this every year. They've been doing that for, I don't know, the senator from the 2nd may be able to enlighten us on how long that's been done. But I want to welcome everybody, and I'll just step aside and let the senator from the 2nd speak.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 2nd.
Good morning, colleagues. Along with inviting you to Savannah Day and having the best oyster roast in town, as the gentleman from the 1st so state, we have the best sweet tea in the country. And for those who don't like sweet tea, we have something that looks like sweet tea we're going to also be serving. So we invite you all to come down. But with Savannah Day, I'd like to recognize Chatham County's DA, who's in the audience today. Our first African-American female DA for the county, for the state of Chatham. We're honored to have her today, but we'll invite you all. We invite you all to experience the good taste of Chatham County and Savannah at our Savannah Day. Thank you very much.
You didn't have me with the oysters, but the sweet tea was a better attraction. Chair recognizes the senator from the 31st for a point of personal privilege. Senator from the 31st have a point of personal privilege? Your seatmates must have pushed your button. Thank them for that. Chair recognizes the senator from the 36th to introduce to us the doctor of the day.
Good morning, colleagues. I will try to do three things in one point of personal privilege. First, we want to welcome Dr. Florence LaCroix, who is our doctor of the day, a anesthesiologist for 33 years and continuing to practice now at Northside Riverdale Outpatient Imaging Center. She went to Vanderbilt Medical Center for her education and was on the faculty at Vanderbilt, at the University of Connecticut, and at Emory University Hospital. She focuses in research on acute lung injury and asthma, very, very timely topics confronting our health statistics here in Georgia. She's practiced at Wellstar Kennesaw, Atlanta Medical Center Northside, and several other outpatient surgery centers. She's been since 2014 in the academic field of health economics. She's an adjunct professor at the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies at Georgia State. And her focus of her research is medical liability, patient safety, and physician burnout. Some of us in this chamber know a little bit about that, Senator from the 32nd. Dr. LaCroix is a member of the American Medical Association, the Medical Association of Georgia, and the Medical Association of Atlanta, where she serves on the board of directors. She has graced us with her presence and her caring, ministering to the House and the Senate members and those of us here under the Gold Dome. And so we want to welcome her again and thank her for her service. Dr. LaCroix is waiting to address your needs at the medical station today. Thank you, Dr. LaCroix. I also want to appreciate the chair of our Higher Education Committee for distributing today the top 10 issues to watch in 2022. Georgia Partnership for Excellence in Education is really a highly recommended source. They have been an asset. They identify trends and they come up with solutions, very thoughtful, and they're emphasizing in this issue the high needs in rural Georgia, with examples of breakthrough practices, and also addressing the challenges to education in the time of pandemic. There is much in here to draw from on how to address the needs of our students across Georgia, how to understand the shifting demographics and the inequities in the systems and structural barriers, and calling for bold and systemic and coordinated policy action. So it's truly a wealth of information. So I just want to flag that for you, both rural and urban legislators. There is much here to gain from it. It's kind of, I keep it on my desk all the time because they have wonderful ideas and policy concepts, and it's here for us to draw on as we legislate here in Georgia. Finally, I will mention and invite you cordially to the Working Families Lunch. Today you can pick up your lunch in 307, and the AFL-CIO of Georgia is graciously hosting us today, and we'll be looking at legislation that has been introduced as well as hearing from labor on their top priorities for the session. You are welcome, one and all, and appreciate the attention for my three different topics today. I yield the well.
Senator from the 18th, I wonder which one of those three keeps pushing your button. Which one would you guess? I'll go with the senator from the 53rd. Does any other senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? The chair sees none. You have a consent calendar of privilege resolutions before you. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? The chair sees none. Is there objection or adoption of the resolutions on the consent calendar? The chair hears none. The resolutions on the consent calendar are adopted. Are there any motions to withdraw and commit? You have a consent calendar of local bills before you. Mr. Secretary, are there any objections filed to bills on the local consent calendar?
Mr. President, there are no objections filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the Committee on State and Local Government, which is favorable to the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. The questions on the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Tyler, I left that one on innocent thing alone with your statewide aspirations on the line. I figured there's no reason to potentially call that into question, right? So I'll let it go. That's an in-kind contribution. I ain't do nothing, boss, I swear. I ain't do it. I don't record out here, but I just practice. On the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar, the yeas are 46, the nays are 0, and the bills having received the requisite constitutional majority are therefore passed. For what purpose does the majority leader rise?
Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent that the bills that were passed on the local consent calendar be immediately transmitted to the House.
The majority leader has asked for unanimous consent to immediately transmit to the House all of the bills on the local consent calendar. Is there objection? The chair hears none, and they are immediately transmitted. The chair continues to recognize the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday, 7 February 2022.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read your announcements? Yeah, I know that's bright.
The State and Local Government Operations Committee will meet in 310 of the CLOB at 12 p.m. today. The Public Safety Committee will meet in Mez 1 at 1 p.m. today. The Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee will meet in Mez 1 at 2 p.m. today. Regulated Industries and Utilities Committee will meet in 450 at 3 p.m. today. And Rules will meet upon adjournment today in 450. All other committee meetings have been canceled. That completes the order, Mr. President.
For what purpose does the senator from the 35th rise?
I rise to find out what time the pictures of everyone in red is going to be made. The senator from the 34th had requested that we all take pictures with our red today for Go Red for heart health.
I'm not certain, but I would imagine the senator from the 34th would have that information.
She ran up the steps, so she's not here to ask. So can I request that we take the pictures now?
You can certainly
before we leave.
You can certainly garner that question.
Leaves.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 20th for an announcement from your desk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to tell everybody that next Friday, February 11th, is going to be John Bullock Day. Senator Bullock served in this esteemed body from 2003 to 2012. He was chair of the Ag Committee, and he wore blue jeans on Friday. So Friday, pack your blue jeans when you come back up here next week and wear them on Friday, February 11th, John Bullock Day. Thank you.
Thank you for that announcement, Senator. Is there any additional announcements? I can't wait to see the Rules Chairman in jeans. And boots. Skinny jeans. Skinny jeans. There we go. The ideas are getting better. Any other suggestions on his outfit on Friday, February 11th? The Majority Leader has moved that the Senate stand adjourned until Monday, February 7th, 2021 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. And the ayes absolutely have it today. The Senate stands adjourned.